Hi, students. It's Mrs. Cummings, and I'm just going to go over with you the problem and solution activism project. We're going to kind of break this into chunks, so I don't want for you to get overwhelmed. The assignment sheet does have every single aspect of it. We're not going to go over all of that today just because there's no point. The main thing is that you get kind of the essence of what the assignment is. So if you look on, to start out with, just follow along with me. If you look at our week of 831, this is when we're starting the problem and solution activism, and everything for this is housed under the project and solution activism project. The only thing that's outside of that is going to be your discussion board post that's due this week. You have one of those every single week. And then your attendance activities, which will be updated shortly. So first of all, I did is try to break this into the 2 class days that we have, so you kind of think about how to do this work. So the first is a complete your write into the day. The second is to watch a TED Ed on sleep and then do a little bit of reflection on your own. You don't have to turn this in. This is just something for you. I want you to think about, why is this an issue and how is sleep important? Then take a look at the problem and solution activism project, which I'm going to go ahead and click on now so that we can talk about it a little bit. So this project is inspired by the book that we read over the summer, Dr. Hannah Atisha's What the Eyes Don't See. And so what I'm asking you to do when we work on this project, this is our research unit for this class. It's a required unit. It's a required component that you know how to conduct scholarly research. And so in order to do that, what I'm asking you to think about is a problem that you care about, something that you want to either bring awareness to other people about, or something that you want to take a deeper dive in to learn more about. You're going to create a public social platform in the weeks ahead where you're going to make a blog where you're going to end up posting your problem, your research, and work on creating a solution before inviting your audience to respond, act, and do something to make a change. Even though you will be posting your research on a blog and in a blog format, your work will still need to be polished and refined. So this is taking the place of writing a big, giant research paper. What I'm doing is I'm breaking the research process down into little chunks, and we're placing it on a blog. So it's a public forum where your classmates can read and respond. And that will be part of our discussion board topics as we continue throughout the semester. Our purpose of this assignment is to inform and to persuade. So the first way that we effectively persuade others to change their mind is through information, right? Informing people. Our audience, we are going to presume that our audience either lacks awareness or we need to provide them with awareness about the issue, and that we want to kind of think of them as fellow high school students. So for the first part of this project, we're going to be crafting a project overview. And in order to do that, I'm going to take us back to the classroom tab for a moment. I have a Nearpod this for you to complete for today, and I have a student directed link here with a code. What this is going to do is just going to tow you into the idea of researching problems. We tend to think about problems as usually controversial. Doesn't have to be something that's controversial, okay? Maybe controversial, but it doesn't have to be controversial. So we're going to look at some different issues. We're going to think about those. I'm going to have you guys explore some things. We are going to look at some controversial issues for you to kind of start your wheels turning, because maybe that's something that you're really passionate about. There are no limitations on this project. So you are allowed to research and conduct your research on anything that you want. That means anything. There are no gray areas. There's no, oh, maybe not that one. Anything you want to do. So if you want to do something controversial, you can do that. And then I'm giving you some time to begin your preliminary research. So the first thing that I ask you to do, and this is going to be due next week on the 8th, is I want for you to craft a project overview. And in order to do that, you're going to need to do a little bit of preliminary research on your topic. or plural. So I recommend at the end of the Nearpod that I ask you to create 3 ideas, 3 places that you want to explore, and then kind of have 3, like, I really like this one, maybe want to know more about this one, absolutely not going to touch this idea with a 10-foot pole. I want you to narrow down your issues to something that you can find enough evidence about to make a claim that you can support with evidence. So here's a bad example. I want to make sure everyone everywhere isn't depressed anymore. So that is lovely. That's a really great idea. But the problem is it's just way too broad, right? It's impossible to cure the entire world of sadness. It would be better to say, I want to create awareness about depression. Then what could be more specific here? So the best iteration of this would be, I want to create awareness about depression in teens, and I feel a possible solution would be XYZ. So there has to be an actual possible solution. You have to show that there's some opposition to the position you're taking, and then you have to feel confident in understanding the particulars of your chosen position and the opposing side. And so I have created for you in the Craft a Project overview. It just reiterates what the assignment is, but I have a sample for you to look at. This is just what I wrote. This is what my research, because I do all the same things that I ask you guys to do. So here's my sample. After conducting preliminary research, I've decided to conduct my research on exploring the problem of stress as a negative force that impacts health, particularly on a body suffering from autoimmune disease. So I'm specific there, right? I'm looking at stress. I'm looking at its particular application. I want to explore the impact of stress on the body and explore possible solutions that would reduce one's overall stress level to help them be healthier overall. Now, this is a draft. So as you see in my draft, I have kind of repetitive words. I have things that are happening over and over again. That's okay, because this is a draft. When you guys move into posting onto your blog, you'll take this material and you'll refine it. So I'm not asking you for you to turn in something super polished for me. I'm just asking to see what your ideas are. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the research I did. So a study from the Harvard Medical School in 2018 suggests a link between stress and autoimmune disease. I suffer from the autoimmune diseases chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, and this study creates a link between stress and other autoimmune diseases. So I kind of let you know, why do I care about it? I would like to make a preliminary claim that autoimmune diseases are potentially caused by and certainly worsened by stress. I would like to propose a solution that looks at how reduction or elimination of stress may help people that suffer from autoimmune disease. So in that paragraph, I kind of tell you, here's what I identify, here's the research that I did, here's a preliminary claim that I'd like to make, and here's a preliminary solution. I'm not expecting for you to know exactly what your claim should be or exactly what your solution should be. And then in terms of opposition, there are many that don't see a link between autoimmune diseases and stress, and many who do not see chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia as diseases that are real. Instead, they see these diseases as imagined. As I conduct my research, I plan to address those positions. So that's all this is, guys. It's not something stressful. It's not something to get upset about. You're going to use this as a blueprint. Notice that I do have a works cited. I do want to see anything that you bring in from the outside properly cited there. And I do have some links on my Smyrna High School webpage, which I'll go to in a minute, but I'll link that has how to MLA. All right. And then the next part of this is delivering a project pitch with Google Slides. So I have told you how to do this, and I'm asking that you use Screencastify, and I've given you a tutorial on how to. I recommend doing these 2 things together. So working on your project pitch and working on your project proposal at the same time. This is going to be due next week on the 10th. I have given you a base slide, and then I've given you some examples from previous student work for you to look at. Now let's go back over to the assignment sheet. So on Thursday, I'm asking you to do your right into the day, to watch your Nearpod on fallacies. We have to watch out for fallacies. These are traps that we can fall in whenever we're doing persuasive writing. And then before your due date, to complete your discussion board post. So let's take a look at that. And the discussion board post is asking you about a time where someone tried to convince you to take to change your mind about a position you believe in. Uh, and then what techniques did the person employ? Did it change your mind, or did it make you convinced of your own positions? Share as many details as you can in a 100-word post that sets up the discussion, the issue, and the outcome, and make sure that you respond to 2 peers about your experiences. And so I also remind you that the revision to our What the Eyes Don't See narrative essay, so where you can find that is revised final draft, What the Eyes Don't See, right here, that's due on September 27th. And remember that your calendar up here reminds you about major due dates. Okay, I don't put the attendance in as major due dates, but you can mark that on your own calendar. I hope that this has been instructional for you. Again, I just want you to focus on these 2 pieces for right now. Next week, we'll worry about what we're worried about creating our blog post. So right now, we're just kind of starting. We're towing our way into the water for this, and then I'll go over the next part as we progress on. Please send me any questions that you have. I'm here to help you at all times. And I'm happy to jump on a Google Meet call with you to talk about issues or questions. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.